Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And happy June 1st. I brought out the Melody Beatty meditation books to read from. I thought that would be a good start to June, to read a little meditation and get us started on the right path for June. I do want to say something before I get into this video. Somebody commented on my vlog yesterday. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are if you're watching this video, but I just want to say thank you for your comment. Somebody said something about they don't watch my Peterisms channel's videos as much anymore because the titles, they don't really know like what the videos are going to be about. Like they think they're going in for one thing and it ends up being something else. And they said something like, can you be clear on your titles over here? I have to be honest with you. There's a couple things I'm not great about on YouTube, okay? I'm not great at thumbnails. I think we know that. I have no editing skills and I am horrible at picking titles, okay? It's kind of like behind the scenes, something that like my colleagues laugh at me about is my titles are so bad, right? I'm just not really good at picking titles, which is why, like, on my vlog, which I feel very similar to the vlog in the same way that I do over here, I literally just pick out, like, one line from the video, like, as I'm, like, going through and, like not editing it, but cutting off the beginning and the end, and, because then I have to render it, you know? I usually just pick out, like, one line, and that's kind of how I title my videos, but I thought that that was a valid point. If I'm going to talk about something about like this is what a blackout is or let's do a gratitude list, I think for people that watch this channel, I think people really want to know like specifically what are we talking about. A vlog, it's different. I'm talking about, you know, 50 different things in an hour. I will do as best as possible to be very clear in the title of what every video is about over here. So it won't be ambiguous anymore. And I was really grateful for that comment because I really hadn't thought about it for over here. You know, I just kind of compared it to the vlog and was like, oh, well, the titles are the same. So I just want to say I really appreciate that comment, whoever left that to me. And going forward, I will try to make the titles as clear as possible. Now watch, this title will be called something like, is this the end or something? I don't know. Okay, no, I'll do better. Actually, I will before I get done with this video, I'll tell you what I will use. I'll say I'll use this as a title, and then by the time I'm sitting down editing it, I'll totally forget. Okay, let's look at the meditations for today. And I'm kind of like leaning towards the journey to the heart today. So let's go in here and see. June 1st. Oh, I pulled it right open to June 1st. Okay, to June. June 1st, let your body lead you. Okay, well, maybe. Let's read the language of letting go. You can tell I wasn't really interested in that meditation, can't you? Okay, I pulled it to June 21st. June 1st, in the language of letting go, is about directness. Well, should we read May 31st first and see what that was about? May 31st, what if? Let's read this, what if? I was talking to a friend one day about something I planned to do. Actually, I was worrying about how one particular person might react to what I intended to do. What if he doesn't handle it very well, I asked. Then my friend replied, you're going to have to handle it well. What ifs can make us crazy. They put control over our life in someone else's hands. What ifs are a sign that we have reverted to thinking that people have to react in a particular way for us to continue on our course. What ifs are also a clue that we may be wondering whether we can trust ourselves and our higher power to do what's best for us. These are shreds of codependent ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving, and they signal fear. This is interesting. I don't know if I've ever read this one before. I mean, I'm sure I have. I just don't remember it. The reactions, feelings, likes, or dislikes of others don't have to control our behaviors, feelings, and direction. We don't need to control how others react to our choices. We can trust ourselves with help from a higher power to handle any outcome, even the most uncomfortable. And my friend, we can trust ourselves to handle it well. Wow. Today I will not worry about other people's reactions or events outside of my control. Instead, I will focus on my reactions. I will handle my life well today and trust that tomorrow I can do the same. This is a really powerful meditation. I know it sounds very simple, but it's a really powerful meditation for me, especially where I'm at in my life right now. I've talked about this in several videos, you know, in the past, talking about I'm somebody that my go-to is kind of like scripting conversations. Like if I'm going to bring up something with somebody, like I script out how the whole conversation is going to go. You know, I am very worried about, maybe not everybody, but people in my life, you know, what their reaction is going to be. Like if I make some big decision or if I say I'm going to do this, or even if somebody just asks me to go to dinner and I'm like, no, I really don't want to go. Like what's their reaction going to be? Which then goes a lot to, it was interesting that, because I was thinking in my head, people pleasing. Like, do you do that because you're people pleasing? like, I never really thought that this what if, like, if I say to them, no, I don't want to go to dinner, what if, like, what would happen? Like, where's that going to go next, right? And I guess it is kind of a form of people pleasing. And then the very next sentence, she said something about codependency. And I was like, well, people pleasing is codependency to some degree, right? Like, it's a certain part of codependency. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. And, you know, here I am, feeling like I have really set so many strict boundaries in my life and really done a good job of being very clear about my wants and my desires and my needs and all that kind of stuff. And I have a very small circle around me, but I still do that. I still script conversations in my head and worry about, well, if I say this and then they say that and they say this, I still worry about, like, if I say to somebody, no, I don't want to do that. I just, you know, don't feel like going out to dinner tonight. If their feelings will get hurt, you know, and things like that. And so this is a really interesting, meditation for me. And I love at the very end here where she says, the reactions, feelings, likes, or dislikes of others don't have to control our behaviors, feelings, and directions, which means that whatever decisions we're making in our life, okay, and this is a hard one, right? Like, when I say this, people will say, well, but you do have to worry about your family's reactions or likes. It's not talking about every decision in your life. It's talking about things that are meaningful to you deep in your core, right? We don't need to control how others react to our choices. We can trust ourselves with help from a higher power to handle out any outcome, even the most uncomfortable. And my friend, we can trust ourselves to handle it well. And so what it's saying is that it's not our job to worry about the reaction of what other people are going to say or do about what we do. I mean, this is like such a freeing thing, right? Like, this is super, super powerful to me. It's not our job to worry about how somebody else is going to respond, how they're going to react, what they're going to think about our choices. Our job is to make our choice. Our job is to make a choice that we can stand behind and say, yes, I made the best choice that I felt like I needed in that second, right? Whether that's accepting or you know, not going to a dinner invitation, or whether that's a job, or whether that's a move, or whether that's, you know, whatever it is, you know? And having to stand up and say, no, this is what I need to do for myself. If somebody is upset about that, that's their shit. Like, I mean, you know, it's so interesting because this is stuff that I learned like my first year of sobriety, and I'm still learning this today, right? This is where I would call a title like still learning this today, and then people be like, still learning what? So I'll have to come up with a more specific title. But, you know, this is something where, like, 30 years ago, 29 years ago, I was learning this stuff, you know, that I can't control other people, places, and things. That's really none of my business. I have to make my decisions for myself. And it's still something that I struggle with today. I still struggle with that today, right? Like, being worried, like, what are other people going to think? What are other people going to do? And what this meditation is saying is, you got to do what's best for you. And if other people are upset about it, you just handle it well. And one of the ways that I've been learning in the last year to handle it well is sometimes I don't have to respond at all. Sometimes I don't have to say anything. I mean, if somebody says, well, that kind of really, you know, hurts my feelings or whatever, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say I'm sorry. I don't have to say, well, that's your shit. I don't have to say, well, okay, now I'll go. I don't have to say any of that kind of stuff. You know, I don't know what to tell you. That's my decision. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, like, and I've shared this story before. I think there's power in it when people start learning that that's like who you are, right? Like, I can remember 20 years ago, asking my friend Tanya to go do stuff, right? And then she would be like, no. And then there would be a night where she would say, yeah, sure, I'd love to go do something, you know? What I learned and she wouldn't say no, like, I don't want to be with you. She'd say, no, I'm just going to stay at home and watch a movie with my husband tonight, or, you know, no, I'm hanging out with my son, or whatever. No, I just don't feel like it. I'm tired and I worked a long day and I just want to lay on the couch. I think we have such a hard time telling people that. Like, you know, I don't want to go do anything with you. I don't want to talk on the phone, right? I'm tired, right? But her honesty allowed me to see that when she was with me, she was there because she chose to be with me, right? And it was super, super powerful. This idea that we choose who is in our life and what time we spend with them, right? I don't want anybody to do anything with me or be with me out of obligation. I want people to choose me, right? I want people to pick me. I don't want to have to be this obligation that people have, right? And I think that's where we start worrying about what people's reactions are going to be. Well, then what that means is that they're an obligation to us. And I don't want those kind of relationships with people. So this is something that I'm still working on today, but I think it's a really, really powerful meditation. So great meditation. Okay, let's read the one for June 1st, because that was May 31st. So let's get started on, and it's a very short one, which is why I read the other one. Directness, June 1st. I love directness. We feel safe around direct, honest people. They speak their minds and we know where we stand with them. Indirect people, people who are afraid to say who they are, what they want, and what they're feeling, cannot be trusted. They will somehow act out their truth even though they do not speak it, and it may catch everyone by surprise. Directness saves time and energy. It removes us as victims. It dispenses with martyrdom and games. It helps us own our power. It creates respectful relationships. It feels safe to be around direct, honest people. Be one. Today I will own my power to be direct. I do not have to be passive, nor do I need to be aggressive. I will become comfortable with my own truth, so those around me can become comfortable with me. I love that so much. I am somebody that greatly and highly appreciates direct people in my life. I think the thing that I've learned that I really struggled with at first, as like being a very direct person, is that, there's a way to be direct, and I think I've really like witnessed this from other people and tried to like model that behavior. There's a way to be direct without being rude. I don't know that I knew the difference when I like started really like speaking my truth and being direct, you know? Like I don't know that I knew the difference with how to do that. I think we all have the ability, you know, if a friend of yours comes out and she has a dress on and you don't think the dress is very flattering, and it's not that you don't like her or you don't think she's pretty or you don't think that you don't like the dress, it's that you think your friend could look better in something else. That's the reality, right? But your friend comes out and she goes, what do you think, right? Many of us would say, you look great, right? When maybe she might feel better if she had something else on, you know? Maybe she's second guessing it, but maybe she likes the dress. I'm just using this as an example. This is probably not even an example that I would even go there with the conversation. When I first started feeling like I needed to be direct with people in my life, I'd be like, I don't like that dress. I don't think that you should wear that, okay? I don't know that that's necessarily how I would have that conversation today. I think the conversation, I'm just using this as an example. It's a stupid example. But I think today, the conversation that I would have is I would say, well, how do you feel in the dress? You know, and if they said, I feel fantastic, I feel beautiful in this dress, I love this dress, I'd say, I think you answered it for yourself, you know, it makes me happy that you feel so good in that dress. That's how I would have that conversation. I'm not somebody to step on somebody's feelings or emotions in that moment. If you feel fantastic and gorgeous and beautiful, then you need to own that and feel that way, right? But if my friend said to me, I'm not really sure, like it's between this one and like 2 other dresses, and I like this dress, but I don't know, I kind of like the other ones too. I'd say, you know what, like let's see the other 2 dresses. And then, you know, oh no, I'll just go with this dress. No, let's see the other 2 dresses and see how you feel. And then she puts on the other 2 dresses. I would be direct and be like, I love the purple dress. You need to go with the purple dress. Are you sure? Like I really like the first dress. No, I'm telling you. The first dress, I'm glad that you like it. Let's go with the purple dress. The purple dress is better. I think there's a way to be with people so you don't hurt their feelings, right? And I also have to like, it's like, you know the statement that I say about recovery, would I rather be happy or would I rather be right? Well, that statement can kind of be applicable to this or that, to this or that, to a lot of different things, right? Like, do I need to be a better supportive friend, or do I need to have my point driven home and be direct in that moment where my friend is asking me about my dress, right? Like, I don't think I need to be the friend in that moment that has to be heard. If my friend feels so good in that dress that it makes her feel beautiful and happy, my opinion does not need to be shared, right? Like her happiness is more important than my directness or my honesty. It is, period, in a story. And if you disagree with that, then you might want to check your friendships, because I think our friends and our family and people around us that we love, them feeling their utmost greatness and confidence and beauty is what is most important, right? So if somebody steps out and they're like, I feel so good in this dress and I think that dress is ugly, I'm not going to say I think that dress is ugly. I'm going to say I'm so happy you feel beautiful. That's not me saying I think that dress is beautiful. That's me saying I'm so happy that you look beautiful, right? When people ask me what I think, I'll say, I think I'm so happy that you feel beautiful in that dress. Like that makes me so happy. I don't even need to say, well, what's important is what you feel like, not what I feel like. Because then the person's going to say, well, what do you think? Well, then don't put me in a spot, because then I'm going to have to say I don't like the dress, right? I mean, that's the truth. But, so you focus on your friend's happiness. And I think that's another question you have to ask is like, we're not talking about, you know, like world events or life events or people's perspective of what things happen in life. You know, if somebody says to me, well, what do you think about this argument that we had 20 years ago? Like, what's your perspective compared to mine? That's a different question. Then I need to stand up and be direct in that moment, right? But if my friend feels fantastic and I feel a different way about that dress, that's not a moment that I need to be direct, right? But I've also learned through the years that there's a way of being direct where you can use kindness and humor and things like that to help in that moment. You don't have to be nasty about it, right? So, great meditations today to start the month off. You just see the dark cloud come over. It's starting to like get darker and darker. It's like raining outside. Anyway, I love you guys and happy June, and I will see you tomorrow.